chronicling our struggle. And again, I think you're much more compelling as a character than me. But the idea is that the number of people that we will have helped, because I may be helping you now, but as you learn about things, you're going to teach me things, whether you believe it or not. And just you learning it is going to help me refine my understanding of foreclosure defense. And once we get through this experience together, whether you win or lose, whether I win or lose, no matter what happens to either one of our situations, if as a work of art or as a work of public service, as long as I get this movie done and get this out there, and anyone who's facing foreclosure, who literally, and let's go through the numbers, 96% of all foreclosures they go through immediately, Nancy, without any legal defense. So that means that 96% of people are losing the number one asset in their life without putting up one piece of paper to fight, and it's not their fault. What the hell? How would they know what to do? They're not lawyers. So in other words, it's a process that's so stacked against the average person that even though you, who I've learned is brilliantly intelligent, worked for the government, is completely capable, it doesn't matter. Even my own father, who owned an NFL fucking team and knows finance from Wharton and has an economics degree from Wharton, he cannot defend his own self in this mortgage thing because it's over his head. And this guy bought an NFL fucking team. Nothing's over his head. He's very sophisticated. So if he can't handle it, and someone as sharp as you can handle it, and my wife, who's a lawyer, can't handle it. The only reason I can handle it is I'm an unemployed filmmaker, and I devoted 3 years of my life to learning about it every day. I put myself through T. Patrick Murray Law School with the internet. That's what I did, and I learned enough. My first ruling in my foreclosure case said the following note from the judge. He said, your motion is denied, which is no big deal. And then he put a footnote, and he said, I urge you to get a lawyer. He says, because I'm going to frame this thing. He says, because even if you're right, and even if this bank has no right to foreclose, and even if everything you're averring is true, this is what the guy actually fucking wrote, and I can't wait to show it to you. He goes, you will still lose this case. Now, this is the guy who, if the case had gone all the way through to trial, would have decided the case. So he's telling me you can't win, not as like a grandfatherly advice to, this man is the man who adjudicates and decides the result. And he's telling me that even if I'm right about the banks having no right to foreclose, I'm not going to win. I mean, that to me, if that was him being a sage or a guru saying a jury's never going to side with you, that's okay. That's his opinion. But this man has control of the outcome, and he's telling me no matter how hard you fight, no matter how right you are, your ignorance as a lawyer, you'll never win. And then cut to 2 years later, on the eve of trial, it's like a big game of poker. They fold their hand. Chase, the biggest bank in America, folds their hand against me, little T. Patrick Murray, without a dollar. Why? Because I said to them, you walk in that trial, there's a record that'll be created. I know you don't own the note. I know who owns it. I even know when they bought it. And you can say I'm bluffing because I'm not going to tell you who it is. But like that's the ultimate poker. Like if you think I'm bluffing, let's walk in there right now. And if I'm not bluffed, because then you'll have perjury on you. You'll have a criminal charge. It won't be about the civil issue about my mortgage. It'll be about fraud upon the court. It'll be about malicious prosecution. It'll be about abuse of process, abuse of discretion. We're talking about real felonious crimes. And, the idea that no one's ever going to jail over this crap is wrong. And to me, the idea that we, catch these people not just being wrong about the mortgage, but lying about it. Like I have Chase who did this case for 2 years, abandoned it 2 years ago, then 2 years later, last year, refiles and doesn't reference the old case. Why is that wrong? Because if you have, if you, let's say you crashed into my car and I sued you 2 years ago and then I just dropped it, and I just dropped it. And then 2 years later, I sue you again and I don't revive the old case and I don't mention the old case. And I do that because certain evidence came up in the first case, like I was drunk. So I don't want that to be in the trial. So I want to start, seriously, no, that's the great analogy. It's like you hit me, I'm suing you, but then you found out I was drunk, okay? So I quietly stop the case, and it's called forum or venue shopping. Then I wait a little bit, and I try to do it again. But the problem is, it is called the doctrine of res judica or collateral estoppel, which says that just like double jeopardy in the criminal era, you can't be tried twice for something. You can't be tried twice civilly in a way. And it applies to cases that have been fully adjudicated through trial or cases that had every ability and right to go to trial, but the plaintiff chose not to. And that's what happened in my case. Chase had every opportunity to get justice if they thought they needed it. They dismissed it on their own volition. And then 2 years later, they tweaked their complaint over the same cause of action. What does cause of action mean? It means I stopped paying him in 2008. That's the cause of action for the first action. And this one. You can't do that. It's illegal, okay? So just that action alone nullifies it. Collateral estoppel res judica. But let's say that doesn't stop it. Then I go into all my tier 1 things, standing, note, promissory note, fraudulent conveyance. And then after that, I get into the Nancy McCardle level, like where you have your payment list schedule. That's crazy. I have my own craziness that's unique to me. So I go into that. And then you wrap up your third act of your case. So all I'm just saying to you is that at the end of the day, you got to get those documents because we have to know all these answers right now as soon as possible, number one. Number two, and I cannot stress this enough, either through the mode I told you, which is calling up some branches you've never dealt with and asking them for an accounting, which I know is hard. You may not pull this off because every time you've tried, you've brought up foreclosure and they've all put their guards up, right? So if you could just try one more time, maybe online you can get it. Maybe there's a way to go to Bank of America online, register, because you still actively have an account. And if you go online, maybe there's a way to get a mortgage account spit out to print, because that's computer stuff. That's no humans involved. You know what I mean? So that may be one idea. You could ask that, because remember, when you're asking people, you're just a Dottie. Remember, we're playing a part. You're a Dottie. Daffy, you don't know anything. You're told to get it by your accountant, and silly you don't know anything about anything. I mean, literally, you play dumb. And if you play dumb, Nancy, you'll get that accounting. And if we take that accounting on one hand, right here on the one hand, and we couple it with your statements or your bills that you got, like whatever, and we do the math together, then Nancy, within a day, we're going to have the infrastructure, the actual numbers, like where I can look into a camera and say, Nancy, here's the summary in 9 minutes, okay? You borrowed in 1995, X at this APR. You paid off this many payments, amounting to this amount of money. And I'll have it all broken down. And then I can list the reasons why your thing's invalid. I can talk about the assignments. I can talk about the standing. I don't know any of those answers because I don't have that information. But I do know that you've paid about $250,000. And do you remember your interest rate? I know you probably won't, but do you generally know what it was when you bought it? Was it like 10%, 5%? Do you remember?
Originally?
Yeah.
Oh, hell, I don't know. I know that
so
I got a...
it changed? It was adjustable?
I don't know how they call it. We went all the way down to... I went all the way down to 2%.
So it was an adjustable mortgage always?
No, it wasn't. It was flat rate all the way, but then I applied, as soon as Obama said, there's help for... people in trouble. I applied for the Obama thing.
Oh, wait. Oh my God. Wait. Stop. When did you do this?
2005, although I waited a full year, until they got back to me. And then they gave me papers via FedEx, and they said, you have to do it today. Don't wait a minute. Go to get it notarized, get it signed by both you and the main loan holder, which is, the guy whose warranty has expired. And lives with another woman. I said, meet me here at the notary. Sign your name. Let's get it in the FedEx thing. It's right next to the notary. And we did it.
Right.
I believe that's when they tagged on the additional $50,000.
Okay, right.
Because it was like a rush. Get it there today. You waited a year. Do it. Go. And it caught me.
Well, again, there's another, like, write down number one is county website, deed, mortgage, title, anything having to do with your tax records, everything. I want to know who paid your property taxes every year. That's all public information. All you need to know is your parcel number or your whatever, or your name will do. Like, you'll figure it out. So number one is that. Number two is the accounting. Bank statements will help you reverse engineer it, but I'd rather you get it from Bank of America in a quiet way. And you know what I mean by that. And then number three is the following. Shit like this. If in 2005 you got Obama's adjustment or some shit, which, by the way, Obama wasn't elected till 2008.
It was goddamn BOA's adjustment.
As
Obama.
Right. But here's my point. Obama wasn't elected till 2008, so I don't know if I don't know what you're referring to in 2005. But here's the point. Whatever it is. Just do me a favor. This is the third and last thing. Get anything and everything you can about that. In other words, I don't know what that is. If it was a mod, if it was, I don't know what occurred in 2005. And I don't want you to tell me now, because it doesn't really matter what your interpretation is. What matters is somehow finding those papers. What did you sign? What did it say? And I don't need you to know all that. I just need you to try to find all the paperwork, so together we could figure it out. Because if you were to do everything I just told you, let's say today's Friday, and if you were to work on this throughout next week, I know you have school, just put an hour a day in, let's say. If you were to do that, and maybe your son, give yourself one of the jobs, like your son could help you with the online thing or anything. But if you do what I asked, you yourself, when we meet, you will say, T, I now have so much more of an understanding of the basic edges of this thing, so to speak. I know how much I borrowed. I know the rate. I know all the changes. And you can track it, because at the end of the day, we're doing forensic accounting here. We're doing forensic legal work. And in order to do forensic anything, we need evidence we need the bone fragments. We need the DNA, so to speak. And the DNA is bank statements or statements from them saying what you paid. It's your own. Any paperwork you have, any paperwork you